queue up. I've got a new intro for tonight. Actually, I've got a bunch of them. So which one should I use, though, is the real question. We'll go with this one. We'll go with this one.
You're listening to Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, when the Dad Bod veteran was on last week, we had him record a little intro for us. So now I'm not stuck with Charles as the only intro that I've got. I mean, DevoSite already saw to that, that he wasn't the only one. And I do have more from DevoSite, so that'll be coming. Speaking of, he's in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Charles is out, and like we said before, he'll be out every other week. And I have with me the delightful Philip D. Keating.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Philip D., the Imaginary Nomad, coming to you live once again on a Thursday night on Wise and Nerdy. Hope everyone's doing well. Joe, thank you so much for having me back. You didn't have a choice. When I heard there was an opening, I came through and said, Joe, I don't care whatever guest you have planned. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to do tonight, and my partner's out, so you need to babysit me. And so here we are.
That's exactly how it happened. 100%, no falsehoods detected at all. Yeah, no, it's going to be an amazing show, and we're going to kick it off with the question of the week, which is it's going to cut us deep, I think. Cut us real deep. What personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble? For our podcast listeners, you might need to pop in and see the video. That was quite the facial expression coming in from Phil.
So why don't you start us off, Joseph? What personality trait do you have that has gotten you into the most trouble?
I am an oversharer and honest to a fault at times. And it has gotten me in a fair bit of trouble when I have shared more than I really ought to have. If you want an example of that, you can go to patreon.com/wise_and_nerdy, because we were oversharing a bit in the pre-show.
Yo, if you want to hear about Joe's radical politics, that is where you got to hear it. We got into a heated debate about how America should be running, and Joe had some very radical ideas. So if you want to hear about that, it's the only place to find it.
Oh, but yeah, no, yeah, I am definitely an oversharer, and in the workplace, that's gotten me in some trouble as well. So, but
well, it's not as bad as mine. I am an oversharer. I also have a very limited filter depending on who I'm talking to, but my biggest personality flaw that I have is that I am a people pleaser. And so like I try so hard to make sure that everybody is okay before myself. And it has gotten me into a lot of trouble, not with society, but with myself, because, you know, if you're trying to make sure everyone around you is okay, it's very hard to leave a sliver of mental capacity or sanity for yourself, right? And so I will drain my battery very quickly and, you know, not be able to decompress or make sure that myself is okay. And just really, you know, that can go for not only days, but it can go for weeks. So it's just like, I wonder, you know, after a week or 2 weeks of trying to make sure everyone around me is okay, not worrying about myself, I am mentally and physically drained, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what happened here. Why, you know, I had a cup of coffee today. I didn't have, 6 whiskeys at night. Why am I so tired? It's just because I run my batteries literally to single digits, and it's literally. I've tried to work on it. I've tried to, you know, leave time for myself, but every so often I'll slip back into it, even though I know it's not good for me.
Yeah, that is a very typical male trait, but you take it to an extreme.
Yeah, because I don't do this anymore because I have worked around it, but I used to do that at work. And my work is already very physically and emotionally draining as a apple farmer up here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. But I used to drain myself at work and then also come home from work and then drain myself again. And I had to set up those boundaries and those walls that, the people that I'm putting my energy into, at home are the people that actually care that I'm putting energy into, right? My boss and my
Yep.
coworkers and my work doesn't really care as much as I do about, people pleasing. Like, yes, I do a good job. I'm very proud in the work that I do. But once I clock out of work, that's it, right? And so it took me 12 to 13 years of working in the same job to kind of figure that out. So thankfully, I don't do that anymore, but I still have that tendencies. My mom, she's 73. She lives on her own in Philadelphia, right? I'll put a lot of care into her, even though we're 2 and some hours away. But I got to kind of work on tailoring that back and leaving enough where I don't feel completely drained the next morning after a full night's sleep.
Yeah.
How do we
Yeah.
do that, Joe?
That is a
We
great
don't?
question. We don't.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no. If someone could solve time management, that would be great. Because I don't have the answers there. I really don't. Because I am really bad about saying no a lot of times. So
Yeah, well, so yes and no. Um, because I've also for like digital media and digital creation, I've also stepped that back where I'll have people contact me either through Discord or through Blue Sky and be like, "Hey man, I would love to have you guest on my show. Like I love your energy. You like the same stuff that I do." And I used to just grab everything, right? Multiple, as much exposure as possible, I felt was the way to go for me as a younger creator. And it never really had the dividends that I really wanted, right? I would see a slight tick up, but then it would fall off again. And so now it's just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I like what you're doing. I just don't feel like I'm a good fit for what you're doing. And now I just kind of say yes to
to us.
creators. Well, hold on, let me finish. Creators that I want to create with, but then also shows that I feel contractually obligated to be there.
We'll let the audience decide which of the
Who's
two we
to
are.
say?
Oh man, yeah, but no one called in this week, so oh wait, we got my wife piping in. Recovering people pleaser here too. Keep it up. So, and John says, "Speak it, Phil."
My main personality trait is my mouth. I truly I hit a point in my life where I need to learn to take a punch because I'm gonna say what I want to say. You can't talk as much trash and as real as I do without being able to take a punch because everything I say is not going to make people happy. And I've been hit before by the words that I've said. So this is me being very tame about that because I do respect you, Joe, and your show. But I have a very short filter. Now, with that said, right, I know where to choose my words correctly, right? If it's a family show or a PG-13 show, I'm not going to go flying off the handles. I'm not a monster. But in the real world, right, I talk to my mom very colorfully because I'm not going to mask who I am, right? The Phil that you see online is pretty much the Phil you see at home. And so like I used to say I don't discriminate my hate. I hate everybody equally. And I kind of still hold by that, but I use a lot more punctuation at the end of my sentences.
Yeah.
And that can get me in trouble, right?
My dad didn't swear on the regular, but when he did, we were like, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble."
And so that's the difference, because like with my kid, I swear all the time, right? And he's very like, you shouldn't say that, daddy, right? So like, it's not the swearing that he is afraid of, it's the tone of my voice, right? The tone changes, and he knows that once the tone changes, things have hit the fan, and we need to kind of straighten up and get back in line. So yeah.
To emphasize how much language I use in my daily life, a few weeks back, my oldest and my youngest were in a room together, and the youngest starts crying, like, and I knew based on the type of cry that he had been hurt. And my oldest comes around the corner with a guilty look on his face, and I turn to him and I say, "What the hell did you do?" And he was like, "What did you say?" Like, "You heard me." So then he went to every adult in the house, my in-laws and my wife, was like, "Do you know what dad said?" So yeah, how dare I?
If your kids were only patrons to see the terrible words their father was saying in the pre-show.
Yep.
I won't repeat them here, but
so bad, so horrible. All right, well, let's see where this journey's gonna take us.
I, Mojo Jojo, say obey me and roll the dice.
Well, that's unanimous there.
Bad dad joke.
Charles's favorite. If he's tuning in live, I don't know if he's here or not, but it is definitely his favorite. This one is going to come to us from the full run through. And it's one that I've heard a lot. My kids love it. Why do seagulls only live by the sea?
why, Joe?
Because if they lived by the bay, they would be bagels.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Do you have
I do.
one?
Now look, I always get in trouble when I'm on your show, because this is where I'll drop my facade and use terrible language. So we're gonna try one out.
Okay.
Why can't orphans play baseball?
Why?
Because they can never find home.
Oh no, those poor orphans. Annie, I'm sorry you can't play baseball.
Sorry, Annie.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're cruising.
Roll that die.
Wait, hold on. You don't have one? Devakate doesn't have one?
Oh, wait. Okay. You're saying we need more? We need more. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking one from the Discord. You're taking one from me. There's always one from you. Devakate normally calls one in. You got to have something else.
Okay. I've definitely got some. Are you ready? Okay.
I feel like I'm going to regret this decision, but yeah, go for it.
I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Yep. Okay.
Oh. How do you organize a space party?
How, Joe?
You plan it.
All right, roll those dice, Joe.
All right. You're just like, no wonder Charles hates it.
How do I?
This one came from you, from that beautiful brain of yours. How do I talk to my children about big decisions they don't have a say in?
So this came up for me on Wednesday. So this was yesterday. Now, Joe, I know you can't relate to the situation that I'm having, but you can relate in the same, sphere of what we're dealing with. My child is about to change schools. He's graduating out of his K-3 school and moving on to a different school, which then gets fed into by a bunch of other schools. So
Okay.
me and his mother have decided to take him out of the public schooling system and put him into private schools.
Okay. All
So
right.
we're moving him to a Catholic school out here in Gettysburg. Um, Me and her had a discussion about it for about an hour, weighing the pros and cons about it, talking about money, because private schools
Yeah.
ain't cheap. Talking about the benefits of having the private school and all this, and so we kind of worked out a nice plan between the two of us. But the looming cloud on the horizon was talking to the child about, hey, look, man, uh, you're about to embark on a new adventure. And as an 8-year-old, he took it as an 8-year-old. He was very much, upset about it. He was worried that he was going to lose all his friends that he built, over the last couple of years and all this. And so it was up to me in that time period between the morning of Wednesday to about 5 p.m. when I can talk to him. I kind of had to go through all these different talking points that I could bring to an 8-year-old about a decision that has to be made for the benefit of him without him having any consent or any choice in the decision. And how can I talk to the kid without talking down to him and kind of get on his level about it? So it was pretty rough, Um, After his mom talked to him, he was breaking down in tears and just couldn't believe, oh my gosh, why is this happening and whatnot. And so my whole thing, once I finally got to talk to him, was like, hey, look, man, like, you're changing schools anyway, right? We're not
Yep.
going to stay in the school that we're sitting in anyway. And this isn't the first time that we've moved him out of schools. He started in Montessori from from preschool to about grade 1. And then, like, I was explaining to him, like, hey, look, man, we've done this before, right? You still talk to your friends from your other school. You're still going to talk to your friends from this school. And the reason that we got to do this, we've talked about, right? And so for me as a parent, I'm very open and honest to a point with my kids. We've talked about how important for us education is probably the most important thing. We talk about goals for the future and not just the instant gratification of what we're doing now. And so I said, hey, man, why do you think we're doing this? Why do you think we're moving you into a new school? Like, I want to know, like, what your thought process is. What anxieties do you have? What problems do you foresee? What can we make? What can you and I talk about as father and son to help make this process a little bit easier for you? Right? Because I
He's like,
don't.
the only thing that'll help me is a Switch 2, Dad.
Well, we'll get to what we're nerding out about. You cool your jets, Joseph. And so, and that's kind of the parental take that I have, is like, I never want to talk down to my kid, but talk on the same level as him, so that it doesn't feel like, his feelings don't matter. And I said
Yep.
to him, I said, hey, look, man, first off, let's go. What anxieties do you have about moving into a new school? Like, what do you have here? Let's talk about it. And he's like, well, it's a new situation. It's a new school. It's a religious school. But also, I've built all these relationships with these people, and I'm just scared that I'm never going to see them again. And I said, well, look, like, buddy, we live in small town PA. You're gonna, we have the phone numbers for all these kids. You're still on baseball that's based in that town. We still have all their contact information. We go to Halloween every night or every year with them and all this. Like, and to be honest with you, bud, you're like a social butterfly. You can kind of go into any new situation and be able to flourish and find new friends because you're kind, you listen, you're empathetic, you know how to, take care of people, but also you just have that personality that people gravitate to. And he's like, yeah, no, okay, I know. And I said, well, why did we move you there? Do you understand why we moved you there? And he's like, yeah, it's because education comes before everything else. And I said, yeah, bud. And I said, look, you got to think about the long game, like we've talked about. Um, Colleges are kind of like jobs. You don't automatically get in, and you have to apply to multiple jobs to get a new job, and you have to apply to multiple schools, right? There's no such thing as a safety school. Everything is a chance because of the world, right? And so me and your mom believe that this is going to give you a better chance for 10 years down the line, right? And so we're not doing this because, we think you need to be a little bit more disciplined. We don't, we're not doing this to spite you, but we're doing this because education comes first. And I want to do everything in my power to set you up to have the best future possible. And he was like, okay. And then the way that I parent is like I like to put a little joke cherry on top, right? Because it does soften the blow for him, right? And I was like, and think about all the Pokemon cards that have been untapped by everybody else. Like that they don't have, that they don't know the cards that they have and the trades you're going to be able to make, bud. Like, oh man, yeah, that hollow, I'll give you three Bidoofs for that. Like that hollow's not really that. And he was like, you're right. I am trying to build a deck and there is, an untapped Pokemon cards in there. So, so that was my situation on how to handle, tough situations that the kids don't have any say in. Do you have anything of that sort? Like, I know you guys have moved a couple times. I was just wondering what you had and what kind of advice that you can give to people that don't have the same situation that I do, where we're moving to different schools.
Yeah. Yeah, big decisions for a family are there. Change is not something that anyone does well, let alone kids, and so it's going to cause issues regardless. And yeah, talking through emotions is a wonderful way to go about it, and then talking logically about it as well, because it also helps foster in your kids that while emotions play a good part, thinking things through logically is a huge boon for anyone's life if you're able to do that. And so you talked about the pros and cons of going to this new school, going to a private school, and how yes, it'll be difficult in the short run, but in the long run, it will pay dividends. It will help him out and set him up. We did something similar when we went to homeschooling. We talked to the kids and we actually gave them the choice. We laid out why we felt that homeschooling would be good versus public school, and ultimately left it up to them to decide, at least that first year. After that, we've just operated under the assumption that they would continue on, although they haven't voiced any issues with homeschooling, especially because they can get done with their work in way less time than the public school would take to teach them, and then they
100%.
can spend more time. I mean, realistically, playing video games a lot. Although our middle child has been reading books a ton. He's just about done with the first 5 books of the Percy Jackson series.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been reading that on his own, and then we read with them as a family too. When I read with my older boys, we're working through the Aragon books, and yeah. Anyway, regardless, I think reading is fantastic to do with your kids, regardless
Tower.
of the situation.
You should
I've
bring
never
him
read
into
Dark Tower,
oh,
but
gosh, the first book is so boring. I hear it's fantastic, but I've read the first book 3 times, and I finished it all 3 times. And I own the rest, but it's just like that slog. So, yeah, I mean, if you need some horror books for your kids to fall asleep to, I got you. I've been reading a lot of horror fiction recently. So nothing really gets those kids to bed quicker than
I've got the Seventh Son series. The movie was atrocious, but the books are pretty good. But
no, that's
they
not.
are.
No. I have some real horror books to recommend to your children.
I mean, they aren't like it or anything, but they're
Yeah, no, it's fine. I have some real horror books to recommend to your children.
Okay. But yeah, no, how you approached it, I think, was an excellent way to go about it, with
So-
your son having that difficult chat.
But how much time did your kids spend in the public schooling system before they transferred over to homeschooling?
Um, so my oldest had 3 years in public school. Well, 4 if you count preschool. And my middle child had a couple of years, and our youngest has never gone to public school.
Yeah.
But we've made sure that 'cause one of my biggest concerns with homeschooling, and I voiced this to my wife, was I wanted to make sure they had plenty of socializing because I was worried about their social skills.
There's no stigma there. What are you talking about?
There's a huge stigma there.
What are you talking about?
And so we've made sure to, well, I say we, my wife has made sure to
Set
get
up school
them-
dances.
No. No, but they've got several different homeschool groups that they meet up with weekly, and so they have some electives that they take through a homeschool group here. So they've taken a robotics class, a web design class, a few other classes, drama, and yeah. So we make sure to get them a lot of socializing, because that was one of my big worries with it, and I think that's helped them a lot, especially with the friends aspect, because they get to see their friends often, because of those groups.
Yeah, Danny's mom has him in a bunch of different kind of classes down at the local library, right? They do different clubs, reading club, Lego club, robotics club, and this is all through the public library in the town they live in, and it's it's been great. And that was another selling point. It's like, well, look, bud, like we're not going to take you out of all these clubs, right? You still have Pokemon Club, which I know you really care about and all your friends go to. We're not going to take you out of that. We're just changing the way that you have your education, because right now he was in, I think his class was about 25 to 30 kids. And this is third grade, right? That's a lot for one teacher to handle. And I was talking to his hockey teammate who goes to that Catholic school. And there was 13 kids in that class. And it's just like the one-on-one, right? Because it's not like they have multiple fourth grade classes. Like that was it. It was just one class of 14 kids or 13 kids. And so they're going to move up to the fourth grade together. So we'll see, man. But I hope and pray that it has, a more personable one-on-one with the teacher. We'll work on him kind of, sitting down and really getting to his math, because his whole thing is that he gets really bored in class because he is so smart. He'll finish his math homework or his math problems in class like 10 to 15 minutes before everybody else.
My 10-year-old just popped in and handed me a note. Wise and nerdy.
This is what I'm talking about. Those are kids, man.
Oh man. But yeah.
Have you ever had to do a big move or anything with the family, with the kids or anything like that?
Not really. So when my oldest was 3 weeks old, we moved from Idaho to Tennessee.
How'd he take that?
I mean, he was 3 weeks old,
so he was kicking and screaming the entire way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when when my oldest was he was 11 months old, we moved into this house. So the other two have not known any other house, and my oldest doesn't remember any other house.
Sure.
So they haven't had a lot of big things, big changes other than switching to homeschool. But
Well-
even small choices, talking that to them and having an honest conversation, and like you said, not talking down to them, because they're gonna know when they're being talked down to. And so just having an open and honest conversation, I think, goes a long way, and it builds skills in them on how to have healthy conversations and honest conversations in the future.
Sure. So you guys are going to move soon?
Not in this economy.
All right, that's fair. I was going to say, I mean, you wouldn't have to have the drama of moving them out of schools, but you're right. Ain't nobody going to be moving in this economy.
If I didn't already have this house and I tried to buy this house in this economy, I could not afford my house.
Dude, tell me about it. The house we're in now, like we checked like last week, and it was about $60,000 more than what we paid for it already. And we bought this 3 years ago, something like that. 2 years ago. And it's just like, yeah, we can't.
Yeah,
we're gonna die in this house.
We got a new appraisal's not the right word, but whatever they send out when they're like, hey, this is what we think it's worth, and so your property taxes are going to be this. Ours was...
No, that's literally an appraisal.
Okay, well, whatever. Yeah.
They're
anyway.
reappraising your house.
But it's not an official appraisal.
You're not
process.
paying for it. Yeah.
But anyway, it was almost twice as much as we paid. Almost. So, yeah, no, we could not afford this house if we were to buy it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, good luck with the future, everybody. I'm not moving anytime soon.
I think once we get established in this new Catholic school, that will be our next big thing, is that I'll move to Colorado and explain to him how important it is. I like to get him established and then make big changes so that he's always on edge about not having stability in his life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. My wife and I, we've been married for 15 years, and we were already talking about how we might be able to take a trip out of the country for our 30th anniversary. This was a real conversation we had earlier this week.
Good on you to think that there's still 18 years left in this world.
And on that cheerful note,
I, Mojo Jojo, say obey me and roll the dice.
we already had Mojo Jojo, you jerk.
Roll that dice.
Oh.
Let's go, grinders.
Oh.
Council of Dads.
Or as Charles likes to call it, the Parliament of Papas. And you said you've got some thoughts on this one.
You read this. You read it.
This comes to us from Reddit, from the Am I the Butt Face of subreddit. So the Redditor is named Neat Addendum 1476. The title is My Girlfriend is Mad That I Don't Want to Babysit Her Nephew on Father's Day. And the that's most of it, but I'll go ahead and read the post. On Sunday, it's Father's Day. So obviously this happened a few weeks ago, but my first Father's Day, I want to spend it alongside my girlfriend and our 7-month-old. However, her brother asked us to babysit his kid on that day because him and his girlfriend want to go out. When my girlfriend asked me, I politely said no, as it's my first Father's Day and I would like to spend it as a little family. She got salty and a little mad and is now being passive aggressive. Her brother doesn't like me and the feeling is mutual and we don't speak. He only talks to my girlfriend when he needs a favor. And he spelled favor with O-U-R, so I'm guessing they're from the UK or some other place that is not America. Not that that's really relevant. Anyway, regardless, his kid is great, and we've babysat him multiple times. On my girlfriend's first Mother's Day, so just a couple months back. It was just the three of us. I don't know why she can't do the same for me. And you said you've got thoughts already, and I would love to hear them.
Well, all right. So Father's Day came and passed already, like you said. But like the one thing I wanted to do on Father's Day was to hang out with my kid and my family. Why doesn't his brother-in-law want to hang out with his kid on Father's Day? Like,
With his own kid.
that's the point of Father's Day, is to, first off, I'm going to say this now, stamp of approval. No, sir, you are not the jerk face. Rightfully, hey, it is your first Father's Day. It's your first Father's Day, right? Literally, you only get one, right? You only get one of your first Father's Day.
Yep.
And so he probably had in his mind, like, whatever I did for my partner on Mother's Day is kind of going to be reciprocated for me, especially because that was her first Mother's Day, right?
I'll get used to that now, because that doesn't happen.
But I'm with the guy. Like, why is the brother-in-law wanting to pawn off the children on Father's Day when that is the point of now? Look, I will say this. This Father's Day was the first Father's Day that I've had off from work. I made sure I didn't go to work. I made sure I had off. And it was a bad Father's Day. Like,
Oh.
my family was great. My kid was great. My partner was great. But like every situation that we went into had just some weirdness that was just like, ugh, are you kidding me? And they tried their hardest and we made the best of it. But what made it better is that I was with my kid and my partner for Father's Day. Like, if it wasn't that, if they weren't there and I went through the same situations, it would be a pretty crappy day. So like, I'm just wondering, like, why, what do you want to do that you can't bring your kid with? What do you want to
Yep.
do that you can't?
I'd almost want to clap back and be like, okay, so are we adopting their kid? Is that what's happening here? Because clearly he doesn't want to spend time with it. If it's Father's Day, am I now that kid's father? Is that how this is going to work?
Now look, he did say in his post that he does enjoy the child, right?
Yep.
And so we don't really have any resolution on, like, there is no resolution on this, right? We don't know exactly what happened. If they took the kid, if they kept the kid with the brother-in-law, if I read that correctly.
Yeah, he does not have a post
Like
following
a
up.
follow-up. Okay.
Yep.
And so if I'm in this situation and it's brass tacks, like, no, we don't have a choice. I already committed to this and we're taking this kid. Fine. Right? In my personal point of view, fine. And to be honest with you, I'll probably give that kid a little bit more attention because I feel bad that their own father doesn't want to spend Father's Day with them. Like, that
Right?
doesn't make sense. But I'm so perplexed on this whole situation. Especially, like, they didn't have to watch the kid on Mother's Day. So what do they have planned? Why are they doing drugs under the freeway on Father's Day and they don't want to have the child there for it? Man, I don't know. What was your point of view on this, Joey?
Yeah, no, he is definitely not the butt face at all. Not even close. And it's the fact that he just wants to spend the day with his girlfriend and his kid. Like, yeah, duh. It's Father's Day, like you said. You spend it with your family. You don't just yeah. No, it baffles me at some people, and I understand wanting to spend time with your girlfriend or wife or whatever is their situation, but there's a time and place, and you should be spending it together with your whole family on Father's Day.
I don't know the situation, but also if you don't want to spend time with your kids, like, isn't there anybody else that you could entrust the children with? Like, the either sets of grandparents. I don't know if they're both with us still, but like, it seems pretty rare that all four of them would be passed away at this point. I don't know. I don't know the situation, but like, I don't know, dude. How was your Father's Day?
Oh, it was fine. My own family
Classic dad response. Yeah, it was fine.
No, my own family keeps Mother's Day and Father's Day pretty low key. We do basically the same thing on both of those days, where we go to church, we go to my in-laws' house, and we have a nice dinner together as a family. There might be a couple of gifts. The kids usually draw cards for us, and that's about it. So yeah, I almost every Father's Day I get a new shirt, like best dad ever shirt with some geekdom
so they
on
lie
it.
right to you.
This year it was a Naruto shirt because my kids have been watching Naruto. So
Okay.
yeah.
I woke up at 9 a.m. with my child standing above me.
I forgot I was wearing one of my previous Father's Day shirts. For the podcast listeners, I stood up. I've got a Moana shirt with Maui, and it says just an ordinary demi-dad.
Also, once again, your children are lying to you. Yeah, I woke up at 9 a.m. With my child standing above me, saying, "I let you sleep in, but now it's 9. Happy Father's Day." And I was like, "All right, Jeffrey Dahmer, back up a little bit." He's like, "I'm hungry now. I'm hungry," and I'm like, "Buddy,
make me breakfast in bed.
You just woke me up, but give me 10 minutes, and I'll get up and make coffee and solidify your bloodthirst for Eggo waffles, my guy."
Oh yeah, kids making you breakfast.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good.
You get raw pancakes, and then you have to clean up the mess afterwards.
Yeah, I'm good. I would rather you stand over me like a serial killer, waking me up with a little.
Eat your cookie.
Yeah. So the main thing about this Parliament of Papas is that there's more deep-seated issues in this relationship between the in-law, the two siblings, the girlfriend and the brother, that we can really get into. But shame on you. Spend Father's Day with your gosh darn kids.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of issues in how I take a special issue with how his girlfriend reacted.
Yeah.
He set a clear boundary and a reasonable boundary, and she got mad and is now being passive aggressive. Like, come on. I'm just, this is me. They didn't state ages here. I'm assuming they're pretty young. I'm assuming early 20s is my guess. I could be way off, but that's their lack of maturity shows in how this is being addressed in general.
Agreed.
So I think we speak for everyone in declaring this person not the butt face, and Reddit in and of itself declared them not the butt face. Let's see some of the top comments here. This one is echoing you almost verbatim. Why would the brother not want to spend time with his child on Father's Day?
Telling you, under the bridge.
Yep. The next person, this is a joke, is it? You, a father, babysitting someone else's kid on Father's Day, your first Father's Day, mind you. Think about that. Does that make sense?
I'm just going to say that he's already off the bat a better father than his brother-in-law.
Oh, this This is a good clap back here. This next one. Tell her to go babysit and enjoy your day with your family, your child, given that she doesn't care about you the same way that you care about her.
I'm going to say don't do that, as you are just
Not-
digging yourself into a bigger hole for when you get
that's-
home.
That's true. It would the revenge on that sounds really nice on paper.
It's the passive aggressiveness that then you just return with full aggressiveness. There's no passive in that aggression, I wouldn't recommend it, or wouldn't want to come home to that house after you say so.
Yep. Oh, your girlfriend's brother must be a top-notch father celebrating Father's Day by ditching his kid.
Well, you can't bring children into the bars, Joe. I know you don't know this, but children, it's frowned upon to have your child A in the bar with you, or B in the car with the windows up, having it be 185 degrees outside.
Well, that's because they yearn for the mines, not the bars.
That's true.
So, but yeah, I think we have made our opinions very clear on this. So we're going to go ahead and
Roll that dice.
we've already done both of those. There we go.
Time for a commercial break.
Alrighty, let's see. What do we got? What do we got when it comes to music? I don't have a whole lot on here, but that's all right. All right, Phil, where can they find you?
You can find me all over the internet at ImaginaryNomad, Twitch, Blue Sky, Instagram with a 1. If you like retro video games, then come join me at twitch.tv/ImaginaryNomad as we play retro Nintendo games every Monday and Tuesday night. We are currently working our way through Pokemon Ruby using our actual cart of Pokemon Ruby. So tell me how I'm Pokemoning wrong. And if you like a little bit of the scarier side, join us Sunday nights as we do Philip Scared Stupid as I play horror games, even though it's going to kill me. I'm also part of Botch, the D&D podcast, which is a D&D show, but, that's not for families. But those Pokemon streams, those are fun and clean.
Yeah, for a brief moment, I was about to ask you how you were playing it on the actual cart, if you had a modded Game Boy, and then I remembered you have that really awesome box that lets you play a bunch of different console that are a bunch of consoles in one that lets you play. Yeah.
This is my Retron Square. That's right. It allows me to play Game Boy Color, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. The only issue is that the retro market is very expensive right now. So if I was a smarter man, I would just use ROMs. But luckily, a lot of these carts that we have either been donated through the Patreon by our patrons, or I've already owned most of them. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. This Ruby didn't work. So I had to open it up and take the battery out and solder a new battery in and all this. And so I haven't soldered in a very long time. And these hands are really big and not great for those little soldering pens. And so Pokemon Ruby is about $120 game. So it was really nerve-wracking to solder a new battery in there, but it worked out just fine. And we're having a ball, I think. I don't know what I'm doing because it's my first run through of Gen 3, but we're doing it.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, speaking of Patreon, you can support this show by heading over to patreon.com/wise_n_nerdy. And if you wanted to, you can call in, head over to wiseandnerdy.com/calldad. We have a few speak pipes, but on that website, it also shows the upcoming questions of the week. And the question of the week for July 17th is, what is the first movie you remember seeing in the theater?
Surf Ninjas.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a very good one. Very good.
That might be my
Um,
grandma's last movie she saw in theaters before
Ooh.
she passed away. Surf Ninjas.
And before we get into the speak pipes that we have from Devakate, I wanted to mention one thing real quick, and we're going to mention this the next couple of shows. There is an official GoFundMe set up for Kurt's wife. GoFund.me/ and these are all lowercase letters, D820E0FC. So that's the GoFundMe to help support Kurt's wife during this time. So we'll put that in the show notes as well. Yeah. So wanted to mention that. Now that I've been a huge downer, unless you go donate, because that's a huge positive, we're going to go to... Yeah.
The man of segues. I'm just
the
saying.
man of segues. Exactly. Charles got nothing on me. All right. Let's see what we got from DevoSite. First one's called DevoSite Travels, which I'm assuming is about him being in Vegas right now, or preparing to go to Vegas, since he left this a couple weeks back.
If I could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh.
I've always been fascinated with kind of South Pacific region. So places like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong. I would like to visit that. But really, the top of my list is South Australia, Adelaide. Adelaide just sounds fantastic. So shout out to KTJ. He doesn't live there, but, Australia. It just sounded really fascinating. I'm not sure how I got caught up in learning about it, and I'm not sure where that all comes from, but it is, and I would just think that'd be kind of a neat place to go. So Adelaide. Hey, guess what, though? I will be visiting Atlanta. Be an awesome place to visit, too.
That's right, he will, for his first Dragon Con.
Heck yeah. Adelaide, my guy. So friends of our show, friends of me, the Toy Power podcast, they are all down in Adelaide. I almost started a South Australia cricket podcast with one of the guys because they're really into South Australia cricket, and I bought into the team, the Redbacks, the Adelaide Redbacks. Researched the heck out of it, got into the team, but Adelaide is gorgeous. So if you ever go, let us know, because we have a friend who is actually a Lego master down in Australia. As Trent, part of the Toy Power team, is also an I wouldn't say international, but nationally known through Australia as a Lego master.
Nice.
Yeah.
How does one gain that title, Lego Master?
The reality show, Lego Masters. Have you not seen it?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, well, so they do it now in the States, right? We have states have their own Lego Master show. Will Arnett was the host here in the States, but down in Australia, obviously each country has their own Lego Masters. So Australia was doing Lego Masters, and Trent from Toy Power applied, made it to the final. And he didn't win, but he got People's Choice as their favorite contestant throughout their season. So
nice.
He's been going on tour throughout Australia, building Legos in front of people and doing the whole press circuit as a Lego master. So it's awesome.
Okay.
It's so cool.
I'll have to look into that. I wonder if it's on any of my streaming services. Anyway, we've got a couple more speak pipes from DevoSite, so let's get to them.
Hey, Joe, you and Stephen were talking about how men who are married tend to live longer. I think Stephen is onto something there because, yes, my wife has been known on more than one occasion to schedule doctor's appointments for me and tell me that I'm going to the doctor. Had no idea. Yearly checkup, whatnot. Optometrist appointment. Well, she's a dental hygienist, so she schedules my dental cleanings. So I guess it's really true, man. This is really, the more I say it, the better it is. I'm really buying into it. I do actually call my wife, and I refer to her as my manager, because I would know where the hell to go if I didn't have her to, work on my, going to our friend's house. If there's like some sort of a dinner or whatever, I have no idea. She keeps it all right there. She tells me where to go. Hell, she'll even tell me that I'm not matching her and I need to go change. So, yeah. In the civilized world, women, especially wives, are very important.
So I wasn't here for this, but he said Steven, so I can only believe it's Steven Adams.
Yep.
That guy's a phony. As somebody who knows him personally, the guy you see on screen is not the Steven at home. It's actually a character that he's playing. He's a really good actor, but he's a really awful person offline. And you'll get to see him in action at Dragon Con. He's rude. He's aggressive. He's multiple times he slapped things out of my hands. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a phony. You'll see Steven Adams. Don't like him. And I just feel empowered being able to call out phonies like Steven Adams here on your platform, Joe.
Oh, Steven. All right, let's see what Devo Side has to say.
Brother Joe. Hey, thanks for recommending Farron. I'm watching it, and I'm up to episode 5. Started, I felt kind of slow, but it really has grown on me, and good recommend.
Oh yeah, Farron is a good one. There's a reason why it was in the running for Anime of the Year, and most people think it should have gotten it. So, yeah, it's a good one. It does start off slow though. Phil doesn't do anime.
Nope. Nope. The best anime I ever watched was probably King of the Hill. And it's coming back for a new season in the beginning of August. So
that it is.
Heck yeah.
They keep bringing a lot of stuff back.
It's never good, but they keep bringing it back.
Oh, well, you're never going to not need propane and propane accessories.
You're darn right.
All right, we got one more from Devo Site. So let's see what this one's all about.
Hey, Joe. I finished Farron, which you had recommended. Was very good. A little slow, I guess, but it was good. Mashal, the second season of Mashal came out. Finished that. I thought it was great. And Dr. Stone, I'm working my way through it. It is, he gets excited and he's 10,000% sure he can do things. But it's really good. So appreciate the recommend.
No, he's 10 billion% sure.
I'm sure that's a joke in the show. Who cares? Anyway, have y'all watched Steven Universe? Steven Universe. Steven Universe. I'm telling you, man. Like, look, it is a family/kids show if you want to think of it like that. But Steven Universe, hands down, best animation show that I've ever watched. Hands down. I watch it with my kid.
Right up there with King of the Hill.
No, dude, I do love King of the Hill, but I am being sincere about this. Steven Universe, if you watch it with your family, it will literally change your life because of the message throughout the entire run of the show. The music is wonderful. Everything about Steven Universe is, bar none, the best animated show you can get.
Okay. Yeah, I think my kids have watched some of it. I've never really watched Steven Universe, so maybe I should give it a try.
And it's linear, so you can't just bounce around. You got to watch the whole darn thing. because things that happen in episode 3 will show up in season 4. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's important.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and
Roll that dice. Roll that dice.
we've only
Roll
got
that dice.
we got
All
2
right, kid,
segments
calm
left.
down.
We're looking for a 1 or a 2, and we got it. We got it. I should go
Finally.
play the craps table.
What are you nerding out about now?
All right. I don't know what you're nerding out about. You kind of teased about the Switch 2, but I don't know if that's actually what you're going with.
All right, y'all. I bought a Switch 2. So look, here's the thing. Yeah, it's got one game, which is Mario Kart. Okay. But I'm having one heck of a time with Mario Kart. Like, here's the thing, and I will tell all of you that are listening. I don't think the Switch 2 right now is for everybody. I don't think it is worth it for everybody. For me, it was worth it. And the way that I acquired it was I got in and had a pre-order at GameStop and paid it down in $50 increments between the couple months that I had. So it wasn't a overbearing $500 right off the bat. So we're having a lot of fun with it. The Mario Kart, people are upset because like there's an open world part of Mario Kart, and they're like, well, compared to other open world Nintendo games, the open world in Mario Kart really doesn't hold up to the standards of Breath of the Wild or it's Mario Kart. What do you expect? What do you expect? GTA Nintendo? You expect to get out of your little your pipe car and beat up a Toad or a Shy Guy? No, it's Mario Kart. We're having a great time with it. Like, it looks beautiful on the television. It's really sleek inside your hands. The reason I got a Switch 2 is because I was rolling off of a Switch 1. My Switch 1 I bought day 1 on launch day, right? It's a little bit slower. The fans are loud. It sometimes shuts off because it gets overheated. And so I said, you know what? I could have bought like an OLED or a newer model, but I said, we're just going to wait. Like if a Switch Pro comes out, I've already put 7 years into this machine. We've had our fun off of it, but it is not for everybody, right? If you have an OLED Switch or you're not playing your Switch or you're only playing certain games, if you're playing handheld mostly versus docked, I don't think it's time for you to, I mean, you can't, but I don't think it is time for you to upgrade yet. The great thing about Mario Kart is that for the Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the top selling game, right? And it always was being supported. So there was always people playing it no matter what. So you don't have to worry about like dead servers. And I think the same is going to happen with the Mario Kart World Tour. Like it's a lot of fun playing knockout mode where, you know, only the top 12 continue, only the top 10, only the top 4, right? And it's a continuous race. It's not stopping. It is 24 people, so it does get chaotic.
I can only imagine.
And the rubber banding can get pretty severe, but there's a huge learning curve on it. You know, the casuals are going to have fun, but for the hardcore racers, there are certain races and lines and finding out the best way to, you know, shave seconds off your time. It's pretty intense. They also added GameCube games to it, which I thought the kid wouldn't have any fun with because he doesn't really care about older consoles like I do. But he logged into it and he was like, "What's this? So what's this Soul Calibur? There's a link. Why is Link in this? What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, buddy, yeah, you want to play some Soul Calibur too? We could do it." And he's like, "Yeah, what is it?" And I was like, "It's like a fighting game." And he's like, "Okay, like Smash Brothers?" And it's like, "Not even close. All right, grab your controller, let's go." And
Not
so
even close.
me and him played Soul Calibur 2 for about an hour and a half. And it was just like reckoning back to those like late high school, early college days of just sitting down with one game and just playing it with your buddy. So we're having a heck of a time with it. But I do recommend it. I'm having fun with it. I don't feel like it was, you know, not worth the money for me. But I don't speak for everybody, right? and maybe wait a year until there's more games like the Donkey Kong, what is it, Bonanzas or whatever it's called, is coming
Yeah,
out in
that they
July.
announced.
Didn't care about it. I thought it was stupid. The Direct flipped my opinion 100% on it, and it looks really incredible now because they're doing weird gameplay that you haven't seen in other kind of platformers. So we're bananas deep in the Switch too, and I'm happy about it. Sometimes when I buy bigger purchases like this, I kind of have that like post-purchase regret, and I haven't really had it yet. And I'm excited.
Nice.
I'm excited about the new Pokemon ZA that's coming out later on this year, and I'm excited what other things they come out with Switch 2. So
Now, have you gone back to any of the older games that they revamped?
yeah, we have. We've been playing a lot of Odyssey, which is running a lot quicker. He was playing Pokemon Scarlet, which had a
Mhm.
very rough launch and didn't
It
run
sure
that
did.
great. It's wonderful now. It's like smooth, and they have draw distance has been expanded so you can actually see where you're going. It really has. He's been playing a lot of he's been playing a lot of Smash Brothers online, and he's been getting destroyed. And just me playing, the two old Muppets in the grandstand, like just terribly ripping on my 8-year-old child about like, oh my god, what are you if I'm pretty sure that your blind person could beat you. And he's just like, if all right, well then you play it. And I was like, no, I don't want to play. You're the one playing. I don't want to play. But the other games, man, it's really just put them in and go. It's a really short list of games that are not backwards compatible, which is key because Switch has been out for eight years now, and we all have a collection of Switch games, and I'm just happy to not have them sit up in the attic with the console. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. So I've got the Kingdom Hearts games on the Switch, and I don't know if they're compatible with Switch 2, but on the Switch, they aren't it's not the smoothest experience.
They chug. No. They chug. Let's be honest. They chug.
Well, and most of that, to be honest, is the really weak internet capabilities of the Switch One. Not good.
Joey.
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's every Nintendo console. This is not something that is new.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
It's not something that they're new. They have always been apprehensive and really crappy about online play, but they always have been. They were, when they introduced the online with the Wii, it was annoying and bad, and it never got any better. So now look, playing online Smash Brothers and online Mario Kart, I haven't run into any latency problems. But my router is right next to where we're playing. And
I was going to say, are you doing wireless or wired?
We're doing Wi-Fi. No.
Okay.
We're doing Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But we haven't run into any kind of issues yet.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah, because with Kingdom Hearts, I 100% refuse to use it unless it's docked because I have a wired internet connection directly to the dock. But yeah.
I will say that transferring over my Switch 1 data to my Switch 2 took forever.
Oh, I bet.
Forever, because I was done through the Wi-Fi. And so that took 3 hours? Yeah, it took 3 hours.
See, and now I'm wondering if they had a Switch 2 set up at Southern Fried Gaming Expo. That's where Charles and I were this last weekend. They had a bunch of consoles. I didn't walk around the consoles. But that's what I'm nerding out about was Southern Fried Gaming Expo. They had probably over 100 pinball machines set up, and I spent some time in there. They had an area for playing board games. They do have panels there, but they're kind of more of an afterthought for Southern Fried Gaming. They're trying to do more panels. They tried to increase it this year. So Charles and I did Wise and Nerdy there. Charles did his game show there as well. But the best part about Southern Fried was the people that were there. Because Charles was there, like I said, Tyra and her husband were there. Bob Magoo was there. Scott was there.
Rob Roberts was there.
Rob Roberts was there. Bobby Black Wolf. And so, yeah, there was great people there. Had a blast, just hanging out, talking, playing games. It was a ton of fun, a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll go back.
And how many years have you been doing Southern Fried?
This is my second year.
Second year.
Although last year I came, I did 2 panels, and I left. Like I didn't have time. So this year I was able to spend a couple of days and actually walk around, see things, and have fun, and it was a good time.
When is your wife coming down to DragonCon?
That is a great question.
Because like as we talked about during the Father's Day segment, like you have her parents are close.
They are. They couldn't handle the kids for a weekend, though.
I'm sure they could. You don't know that. You're assuming, Joe. We don't assume here. And the only way to really have definitive answer to that question is to at least try it once.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
So,
but also there's a kids track at DragonCon, so bring the whole family
and just leave them there.
That's right. Leave them there, and then come back at 3 a.m. after botched and pick them up.
And pick up the feral children. Yeah.
You want them to get out of the homeschool stigma. Bring your kids.
Oh, that is definitely one way to.
They need to meet Uncle Philip. Trust me.
John, scientific experiment.
I have a hypothesis.
Oh, yeah. We shall see. DragonCon is a different beast. Taking him to one of the smaller cons, I think will be where we need to start with that, because DragonCon, yeah, it's a very, it can be a very intense experience. So
here's what you do: dress him up as the 3-headed dog from Harry Potter, Fluffy, right?
and have a leash.
And have a leash. And then you can dress up as Hagrid. Bam! What more do you need?
There we go.
Joey. I'm an ideas man, Joe. Joey, I'm an ideas man. I'm just pitching
solution.
Out. Yeah.
And I could be Hagrid one day. I could be Hercules another day.
It writes itself, Joe.
Oh man. All right. Well, we've got one final segment for tonight, and it is Daddy, Tell Me a Story. And I thought we should talk about sports. Good old sports. I don't know if you have any sports stories, but when I approached this, my thought was to talk about some of my wrestling that I did back in middle school. My friend was on the wrestling team, and he looks at me and he says, "Joe, we need someone that's about your weight. You will join the wrestling team." I'm like, okay. So I joined the wrestling team, and they did in fact need someone my weight, because the person they had at that weight was on academic suspension from the team. So yes, they did in fact need someone in that weight class. And oh man, I remember my first match. It was atrocious. I had no skills, 0 skills. I did end up pinning him. It took a long while, but I won that match. Overall, I went 10-1, so
okay.
not horrible. Of those 10, only 2 of those were wins by forfeit, because they didn't have someone in my weight class to wrestle. and of the other 8, I won by pin. I didn't. I know. I mean, I don't know if I would have the endurance to win a full match. I was I was a hefty boy. I'm still a hefty boy. But yeah, I half the season I wrestled at 185 and the other half at heavyweight because in practice we were practicing a move and we were told that after we did the move to practice live. And so me and the heavyweight were practicing, and he tried the move, and then we were to wrestle live. I threw him in a headlock and got him airborne, and he landed on his ankle really bad, and it shattered in 3 places. So he was out for the season. In fact, I don't think he wrestled again after that. And so around that time, we moved to a new semester. So the one that was on academic probation could come back, and he resumed his spot, and I got bumped up to wrestling heavyweight. But yeah, it was interesting.
Did you ever sustain any injuries on yourself while going through your wrestling?
I did not. I did not indeed.
Good.
I tried wrestling in some of the open tournaments. I ended up
Recently?
No. I placed second at regionals. And I only wrestled the 1 year, but I say that and it sounds good, but there were only 3 people in my weight class at regionals. So I beat one person and didn't beat the other. So
doesn't matter. You still got a W, bud.
Yeah. And the one person that I lost to, so this was in 8th grade. I was in 8th grade, and he was a senior, and as we were walking up, he was talking to one of his friends, being like, "Man, I don't even want to be here. I'm sick." And no, yeah, he trounced me. I'm like, well, that's a big ego boost.
He's he pulled the Michael Jordan, having the flu and still destroying the Utah Jazz for that championship, right?
Yep. But no, it was a good experience. It was fun. My friend after that year didn't wrestle anymore, and so I was like, I trained with the high school kids the summer after, between 8th and 9th grade. I didn't like the coach. He was very old school and inappropriate, and I was just like, not in his actions, in his words. He was inappropriate. At least not in the actions that I saw.
Yeah. Fair.
But ironically, he was my dad's coach when my dad wrestled in high school.
No. Retire, bud.
Yeah, he was an old man. But yeah, no, he was a character. I think a year later, after I was off the team, or after I was done, he did officially retire. But yeah, no, he made all kinds of very inappropriate comments, and I was just like, yeah, no thanks.
And that's why you can tolerate me today.
Exactly. But did you play any sports?
Yeah, but
like hockey, maybe.
I played hockey and I played baseball. I played hockey from the age of 5 to 19. And baseball, I played about the same from 5 to about 12. But hockey was my main sport. I played all the way up to junior A, which is like the beginning stages of like your professional minor league career. So we were pretty deep into it. But a lot of my stories that I have from sports is about off ice antics at like tournaments and stuff, which I'm happy to share, but this is not the platform to share it on. But for hockey, I played I played aggressive and I played for a long time. And it's funny because I played both between a club and school. And in my club team, I was averaging about 20 goals a season. And
Ooh.
for my school team, I only scored 1 goal the entire 4 years of varsity.
Oh boy.
Which is hilarious because it came on the second to last game of my senior year. In a game we were only playing, we were already up like 8-1, right? And I pop in my first career high school goal and lost my mind, right? At that point, right, there's like, you don't celebrate once you're already up by like 5 goals because it's disrespectful. Nope, not me. I did the whole running down the ice, knee highs up. And like, I heard the bench like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, I have no shame. It's just funny because like club was a lot more, it was a better league, right? It was more of a competitive, better players to play against. And I thrived in there. But for the high school team, I couldn't really get anything in the net. But the one story I'll leave you is the one time I had to be stretchered off the ice.
Oh boy.
I'll tell you 2 stories. We'll make the stretcher one really quick, and then we'll leave on a punchy one. So we were playing. It was a high school game. I was about a junior in high school, and there was a race. Right, the puck was thrown into the neutral zone and into the other team's zone, and I was the closest one to it. So I was skating my butt off to get to that puck, and the goaltender noticed, like, okay, he's going to have the puck alone. I'm also going to sprint forward to kind of shut him off so that he doesn't have. So we're racing towards the puck at the same time, and he dives feet first to kind of take the puck away and smother it in his stomach, except his skate caught me where I have no pads on the inner thigh.
Oh boy.
From about right above my knee into my groin.
Oh yeah.
And
well, that's one way to get a vasectomy.
Well, I said almost to my groin. That's patreon.com/wiseandnerdy. And so he gets up because he's got the puck, and he looks down, and there's blood all over the ice because his skates were sharp enough to cut through my pants and my socks and all my equipment. And so they had to stretcher me off the ice and rush me to the local hospital. Luckily, right there on your leg where I was hit, it's mostly fat. There's not a lot of tendons or anything. And so it luckily wasn't deep enough to catch like an artery or anything like that.
Yeah. You didn't die.
I didn't die or lose my leg. And literally they threw stitches in my inseam from my knee to my groin, and I took a couple months out so that could heal up. So that was fun. And then the only story I have that I'll share here tonight is I got into a fight in a game I was not playing in.
Wait, what?
So once again, this is high school. This is senior year of high school, and I've already been suspended for 1 game. And so as the captain of the high school team, I still have to go to the rink, right? I have to wear the suit and be in the locker room and be everything. I'm not allowed on the bench, but I have to be there presently with the team. And so you wouldn't believe this if I told you, Joe, but I was a smart aleck and a rebel rouser all the way back then. So instead of sitting up in the stands with the rest of the fans and with my family and all that, I sat at the boards where the door is, and there's like a slight crack in the glass so that the door can open and close. And I sat there the entire game heckling the other team's goalie.
Okay.
And so we're losing by 1 going into the third period, and we pop in a goal like with 10 minutes left, and I'm hounding this goalie verbally, saying probably a lot of the things that your wrestling coach said, but I'm saying it to just one person. And then with about 50 seconds left in the game, we get the go-ahead goal to solidify the win. And I lay into this kid. God bless his soul. And so at the end of every hockey game, still today in school and in club, you congratulate your team and whatnot, and then you shake hands at the end of the game, saying good game. The goalie skated right over to the door, and I opened it up, and then me and him got into an altercation right there at the edge of the ice. And my buddy, I'll just say his name is Zach. My buddy Zach, very quiet, very pensive, very low kilter, individual, sees this happens, right? And he leaves the line and comes full force and hits the goalie from behind, knocking the 3 of us into the locker room. Right? There's no coaches, there's no parents. This is a mayhem fight that's going on inside this locker room.
No witnesses.
Well, that's the thing. As soon as Zach hit that kid, like everybody knew what was going on, right? And so the parents run over, the coaches are running over. There's mayhem inside this rink. I don't have any equipment on, and I'm taking a couple punches in the face. His helmet was ripped off, and he's catching a couple punches. The cops had to call to the rink and separate everybody, right? And now, not only this is Joey, this is a 4-rink venue, right? It's not like it's the only rink inside this facility. So now everybody from all the other 3 rinks are now in this rink, because what the heck is going on? The police are here. What kind of altercation has happened? Like, what is going on inside this high school hockey game? And I had to be escorted to my parents' car by police because they were worried about retaliation from the other players, and then also the parents of the other team. I remember catching it from the goaltender's dad as the cops were leading me out. And he was like, well, let me clean this up. That's my son that you did that to. And I colorfully said, yeah, are you sure that's not your daughter? And then and then the police literally pushed me out of the rink into my parents' car. So I have a lot more stories from hockey. That's just one of the most more interesting ones, because we're all a bunch of high school boys full of stupidity. So yeah, I still play hockey, Joey. I picked it back up last year. I took a 20-year break, and now I'm playing hockey again, and my body hurts.
It's all them fights.
It's all them fights. You wouldn't realize this or think about it, but eating 6 hot dogs before you go play hockey, not a great pre-sport meal, but I'm not going to stop.
Unless they're Costco hockey.
Costco hockey.
Costco hot
That's
dogs.
right.
Yeah, Costco, they sell everything, even hockey rinks. Just like Charles, he'll sell anything.
It's true.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting, Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
Shut up, Mike.
My curve!
Charles is a jerk.